Yeah, hi guys, Peter back for yet another video. Today I want to talk about one band in particular. I want to talk about Van Halen. I just want to talk about, I just came up with this idea, it dawned on me. I want to talk about the various lineups. When I say lineups, I mean, basically with Van Halen, they've had three lead singers. So I want to go, preferences. I want to talk about my history of what I liked and so on and so forth. So I hope you enjoy this video, guys. Let me know what you prefer, and I'll just tell you how I got into Van Halen. I never listened to a Van Halen album till 1986, when it came out, 5150 with Sammy Hagar. I love that album. I was aware of the Roth period with Jump and certain songs, but didn't have the albums at that point. Later on, of course, I went and got the albums, and I've loved those albums ever since. And I've heard all these studio albums by the band and so on and so forth. So I got that, and then I think I got 1984, and then went back and, how it goes. And then, so I initially... Well, I did like the Hagar period. I liked 5150, OU812, and For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge. I wasn't big on Balance. I found that hard to get into. I don't know why. A lot of people like it. Some don't, though. So they're the four albums he did with them. Then we'll get into... Now we'll talk about the David Lee Roth period. I love all those albums. I love the first album from 1978. Just a wonderful debut, one of the best of all time. They didn't slacken off the second album. Van Halen 2 was a fine album. Very heavy album after, probably heavier album in a very hard-hitting album from 1980, Women and Children First. I love that album. Fair Warning after that, quite a dark vibe to that album, which probably to this day is my favorite Van Halen album from 1981, Fair Warning. Dive It Down had a lot of covers, but I like some of the songs. I think it's a bit underappreciated, but probably the weakest of the bunch with Roth. And 1984 after that, from 1984, and then Eddie, as well as Eddie Van Halen, as well as his amazing guitar chops. I think the couple previous albums, a little bit he had keyboards, but this album there was a bit more keyboards with Jump and I'll Wait. So, and I love that album too. It's one of my favorite albums from that year, 1984 by Van Halen. And and then they had Van Halen 3 from 1998, the Gary Cherone album. He's the extreme lead singer. I wasn't big on that album at all. It gets a lot of crap. I can understand why. It's a very long album. It's 60 minutes, I think 12 tracks. Actually, it's the only time I saw the actual Van Halen was with Cherone on the vocals. The show itself was great, though. They had Cherone on the vocals. He did the Roth songs and a bit of Hagar. And, the show was excellent. I remember seeing it in 1998, and they were excellent that night. Had a pretty good seat there, too, that night. But the album itself, not so much. But I went to hear the old stuff. I wasn't big on the album the album with that Cherone fronted. Of course, they released. They got back together with Roth, did a different kind of Truth. I like that. I think it's got some good songs on it. I think it's a pretty good release, well worth adding to the collection. And of course, they toured here in Australia with Roth, with Wolfgang on the bass, Wolfgang Van Halen on the bass, and Alex Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen, in 2013. Didn't make it to that show. I think I said something was on. It was quite a busy time for me. Didn't make it to that show, and I have seen Roth by himself, on the Skyscraper tour in 1988, which was excellent, very entertaining performer, and he's doing the rounds now, just trying to keep the music alive. The voice is not quite what it was. Some people never thought he was a great singer. I thought he was a bit underappreciated in the singing department. great entertainer though. Just a one-off personality, and his great lyrics. I like these lyrics too, quite with a bit of a sense of humour. But going back to that, so basically I'm saying with the recorded music, I liked all the Roth and the first three Hagar albums, but I've really gone off the Hagar period. I don't really play it at all now. And if I'm going to listen to a Van Halen album, I'm going to pick one of the 6 albums, excluding Different Kind of Truth. But that was quite a good album. I would pick one of those albums if I'm going to get into a Van Halen, kick, so to speak. And yeah, so that's where my preference is the Roth period quite easily over the Sammy Hagar period. And I find that Sammy Hagar period is quite a few ballads in there. It's a bit FM radio for me too, and the Roth is more what you could say. It's got a bit more substance in a way with the Fair Warning album and so on. It did a couple of different things on those albums. So my preference is the David Lee Roth period over the Sammy Hagar period, and coming in third would be the Gary Cherone period, which is only one album anyhow. But yeah, as I said, guys, if I'm going to play a Van Halen album, it'll be one of those, one of the Roth albums. Now I haven't put on a Sammy Hagar album in, I can't remember when. So yeah, but at the time I liked the first 3 Sammy Hagar albums, and there's some good songs on there, but I just don't really go back to it now. And as I said, if I'm going to play something tomorrow or whenever, it'll be I'll put Fair Warning or the first album or 1984 or something, one of those albums. So there you have it. That's my thoughts on the Van Halen situation. The band is, of course, over now with the death of Eddie a few years back. Yeah, I don't know if there'll be any more releases. I'm sure they'll do something, but yeah, that's my take on it. What era do you guys prefer? Is it Hagar, Roth, and or do you like that Gary Cherone album? You might like it. I wasn't big on it, and I just thought the prime material is the David Lee Roth period. No question about it for me anyhow. That's how. What do you guys think? Comment and subscribe. Let me know down below. Please subscribe and share and all those things, guys. And I'll see you for another video. Won't be too far away. I've got many more to come. Stay tuned. Bye for now, guys. Bye.